Hello, welcome to the Courage to Rise show. I'm Katie Cianci, and the title of this episode is Building Your Brave with Megan Valentine. So excited to have Megan Valentine here. She is a wife, mother of three, and a coach to many women faith-based entrepreneurs. She's the founder of, a Team Brave, We Are Team Brave, which is a community of women who are committed to pursuing their dreams and living a life that's full of purpose and also are able to do it all. And so I think there's so many women out there that want to do it all. And so it's great to have you here. And then you're also an author of No Place Like Known, which I love that title. Because it's all about finding home where you are and chasing your dreams. So it reminds me of The Wizard of Oz, which is one of my favorite movies as a little girl, because we all get to dream, right?
Yep.
Get to dream and live it. And
Absolutely.
so, well, welcome. And I'd love to start out with, if you could share a little bit with our audience about where you started on this journey. And because you have a really inspiring story and message.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I love being able to hang out with other women who are just looking to empower others and live their best lives. So just excited to be here with you guys today. And my story, I feel like it goes back like to those days when, I was like 16 and things were fresh. And, for me, I kind of hit rock bottom at a really young age. And I had been out searching for all that acceptance and love and was trying to, just have other people like me and become what everybody else wanted me to be. And on my 16th birthday, my cousin actually committed suicide, and it rocked my world. Like, it was one of those things where it was like a before and after moment. And so what some people have at the age of 20, 30, 40, I felt like I had it at 16. And I had, an opportunity to ask myself some key questions about the path that I was on. And, did I want to stay on that path or make some changes? And so I started to build my brave back then, because I decided that's not the life that I wanted to live or the path that I wanted to travel. And I wanted more meaning in my life. And I wanted to make a difference in the lives of others. And so it kind of started right there. That's when I found my faith personally. And when I started to look for really authentic friendships, even if it was a small circle, just people that I could really trust, that would encourage me to be me, no matter whether, that was popular or not.
Yeah.
And that kind of started me on a path that led me to, for a while, I did different kinds of ministry, church ministry, worked in churches, led high school campus clubs, loved empowering teenagers to build their brave and be bold and be who they were and love others and shine bright, and did that for a lot of years, became a mom, and thought, this is crazy. How can I keep doing all of these things? And yet something in me couldn't stop. I thought, there's got to be a way that I can chase my kids and chase my dreams. And, you kind of said we do it all. Now, it isn't always pretty, I'll say that. But I have learned along the way that it really benefits my kids when I don't put all my dreams on the shelf, and I still keep fighting and contending to be the best me and do the things that God has designed me to do. And so I'm sure we'll talk more about the pivot that kind of happened in my life about 5 years ago, but that's kind of where my story began.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how you mentioned that, like chasing your dreams, chasing your kids, because there is a transition. I mean, while there's people that like you who said, okay, I'm going to be on my path early on in life, there really is a transition when you enter parenthood, whether you're, a mom or a dad. I think for women especially, it's like this identity, at least for me, when I had my son, I thought, wow, I'm responsible for this beautiful child and raising him. And I want to do the very best that I can. And I also have a dream of a career and to make a difference and support other, whatever it was. At the time, I wasn't quite sure. But I just had that knowing inside my heart. And I thought, how am I going to do this? How am I going to balance it? And I think a lot of women put that pressure on themselves, like they need to not chase their dreams and focus on parenting, which is great. If you just focus, I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of women out there and moms who are saying, I want to do both.
Yeah.
And they just don't know how to do that. And you've done that.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is don't give up, because you know what, you can fail your way into success, I think, and that's what a lot of us do. We stumble along the way and learn all the ways not to do it, and then we kind of figure it out. And with each new season, there's like new things that we have to learn, right? And that's why I'm huge into community, because there's no way you're gonna be able to do it by yourself. Right? So as a mom chasing your dreams, you're not gonna be able to figure it all out on your own. You're gonna have to be willing to ask for help. You're gonna have to be willing to figure out what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. And you know what? You might have to like either have a messy house or have, high school girl come in and pay her $10 an hour to help with the laundry, or, there's give and take. It just depends on what really matters to you. But I definitely like working with women every day. The mom guilt is real. The struggle is real, and just know that you're not alone. And I would just say to all women out there, like, that's why I created Team Brave, is because I knew, like, for me, that I was entering a new season and I had to create a really strong circle around me, because I can't trust myself. Like, there's days I don't think I have what it takes, or I'm sure I don't, or there's days when I just want to throw in the towel and be like, forget this, sometimes it's on the career side and sometimes it's on the mom side.
Yeah.
You can't really do that on the mom side, but you feel like locking yourself in a closet once in a while, and just going, I don't know, I can't do it. But to have other women there who see the greatness in you and who believe in you on the days that you don't, to look at you and go, you can do this. Or it's okay, lock yourself in a closet, take some deep breaths, and then come back out, apologize to your kids, and start over, But having those people in your life, yes, it means like getting vulnerable. And yes, it means taking the facade down. But for me, it's been so life-giving and really helped me be able to get where I wanted to be in life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. And thank you for sharing that, because I think for a lot of moms there's that shame and that guilt of, I want to lock myself in a closet, or I want that time to myself, and it's like, it's okay. I mean, nobody talks about it really, but to have a community of women that support you and you can talk about it and be open and honest and authentic and share all of that makes such a difference. And then if you're creating a business or a career, whatever it is that you have, some people, foundations, charities, there's all kinds of ways that you can, there's all types of dreams.
Yep.
And that you can have. And it's a matter of having that community. And so many of us try to lone wolf it, we try to do it on our own, thinking, oh, it's going to be better that way. And it just ends up creating a lot more struggle. And you don't really make it very far. Right?
It's so true. I think, how we can't go very far if we're going at it alone. And there's just no way to, I feel like, be at this place where, the self-doubt's going to come, the limiting beliefs are going to come. But having people to speak truth to you is everything. And knowing that you have other people that you're linking arms with and going, you're not just reaching out on the bad days, you're celebrating the wins, because there's enough space for all of us to shine bright and to get alongside some other women that believe in that and that can empower each other and lift each other up. And that for me has just been such a lifeline.
Yeah, that's great. So Team Brave, can you say a little bit about what you do in Team Brave? Because this would be a community that I would love to join. And I think, I imagine other women as well.
Yeah. So, and that's what happens. So My husband and I started to have some conversations. It was in 2014, and I don't know if you've ever sensed that stirring or that like restlessness, and you're like,
Mhm.
something needs to change, something needs to shift. You can either fight it or you can lean into it, right? And so for a while I fought it, and I just thought, well, I can control things and fix things, and I can make all this feel better. But there was like a shift taking place, and when I started to lean into that stirring, I was like, it's time for a change. And I asked my husband, there was something about my oldest daughter was turning 10, and it was that double digits. It was that, like, I've been a mom for a decade. Oh my gosh. I get it. We're all like, our kids grow up too fast, but it was really like rocking my world. And I looked at him and I was like, do we want to live the next decade like we did the last decade?
Mhm.
And I pictured myself with her being 20 and looking back and going, what would I regret?
Mhm.
What would I be happy about? What would be missing? And we literally made a complete pivot. We moved from Illinois to Arizona. We changed careers. We made a greater effort to kind of be more available to our children, and shifted some things in our lives to like be more present and make I always say, like, my tribe of five, right? That's what became my priority. And that didn't mean I stopped chasing dreams. It just meant it was going to look different,
Yeah.
and it was going to be in a little bit of a different container. And so what happened was, though, knowing that I was making all these changes, I was like, I need a circle, because I'm a people person. Like,
Yeah.
isolating does not do good for me. I know, like it just does not do me good. So I reached out to 6 other women, and I
Mhm.
said, I need you to be my team brave, right? And I had gone to this conference that my best friend had, and she's like, everybody needs like a team brave, like a group of women. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I need. And so, I mean, I literally, like, as cheesy as it sounds, I bought them all these shirts that said Team Brave. I got them like a little like dream notebook. I made them all meet me at Starbucks. They didn't even like know each other, most of them. And I was like super vulnerable. I felt like I was like back in 6th grade at the middle school lunch table. And I was like, will you be my friend? Like, I need friends in this next season. I'm changing everything. I'm going to be the new person. My kids are going to be the new kids. Like, it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard, but I know it's right. But I need you. And I think you need me too. I think we could help each other. And I created this circle. And that's what really got me through that transition in that first year, where literally my identity was kind of stripped away
Mhm.
and life was different. And what started to happen is, as I posted about my circle, and as I like talked more about them or posted pictures, because we would gather on Zoom, we would gather over like group text message, and we would gather in person like a couple times a year. And women everywhere were like, I need Team Brave. Like, I want to be part of Team Brave. And I was like, no, this is like my circle. And then I was like, and I just felt like, the Lord was kind of like, women need this. They need a
Yeah.
place where they can be totally imperfect, authentic, where they can be accepted wherever they're at in their journey of life and faith, wherever they're at in this season, and know that they can show up, and that it's going to be women who live above the line and want to like lift you up, and that there's room for all of us to
Mhm.
be at our best and to shine bright. And so I kind of created this online space. So it went from 7 of us to over 7,000 now in the online group. And it's exciting because now we're starting to do some events, and I do like a weekly Brave Women Wednesday Zoom, and I just interview other women because I love moments like this, like you're giving me a voice to share my story, and I love being able to do that for others, because we all have a story, we all have something that we can share. And so that's what the Team Brave has kind of become, and it's evolving, and it's open for all ladies.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I just felt like I was so called to you, and I'm hoping, were you able to see me when I think my screen
Oh yeah, yeah.
broke up a little bit. Okay. Um, but yeah, when I was, my son is a 10. He just turned 10. And it was the same time where I was thinking, it was this like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot commute back and forth an hour every day and miss his baseball games and not be there for his practice. And, it's like, those are the things, those are the moments that are so important, and they remember that. And there's so much time. We only have so much time with our children before they're gone. They grow up and they move on to, live their lives. And so I felt the same way. And I talked to other women around me who also had children at various ages and were feeling like that too, just like exhausted, and you just didn't have like anybody that they could really talk to. And I love that you created this community. Started with 7 and now you're at 7,000. And and that's how it starts. Like sometimes you're like, well, I don't know where to begin. And it's really like beginning just there. If it's even 2 people, that's a start.
Yep.
To create.
And I think it's beginning with what you need.
Yeah.
Because we're a lot more alike than we are different. And so if I need it, you probably need it, and she needs it, and she needs it. And so sometimes you start things out of a selfish reason to go, I need this in my life right now. And you realize you begin to attract other people who are feeling the same way. And if you'll just be honest with where you're at, other people go, oh, you can say that? You can admit that you want to lock yourself in the closet? And I'm like, totally. It's better than locking your kids in the closet,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But when we all realize how much more alike we are, and sometimes you start it just for you, but you realize, wow, this is like going to help other people too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's actually why I started Courage to Rise, because, first of all, I had this dream of having a business, where I'm creating, transformational coaching and also a therapist, private practice therapy business. But I shared with you a little earlier, and some people don't even know this, you're going to be listening, is that, my brother, he killed himself. He suicided around this time that my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And that was such, like you were saying, when you were younger, like there's these moments in your life that are so pivotal, and they happen, and it's a wake-up call, and you either answer the call. I believe it's God's call. Other people could think it's source or whatever, but it's either you answer the call or you don't. And we get these messages all the time, telling us, whether it's for our body or through friends or family or through God, that you've completed this part of your path, and now it's time to move forward. And if you're not going to move forward, going to make it happen. We're going to make you almost make you go in that direction. And so, yeah, like where to start with what you need, because other people need that too. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. And I think like something for me, like that wound at 16, which became from a pain point to a purpose point, really, it was such a clarifying moment. But I learned so young that we just get this one life, right? There's no practice run, just one life. And so I don't know if you've heard that quote, but like when they're talking to people on their deathbeds, their number one regret is living a life that's not authentic to what they really wanted. And rather they lived their lives for what they felt other people wanted them to be and do. And that kind of just motivates me almost every day. Like, I'm like, this is my one life. Yesterday's gone, today's a gift, and tomorrow is not promised. And so like, what can I do today to build the future that I want tomorrow that I will not regret,
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's so powerful. I mean, life is now. It's not, I mean, especially when you have somebody who's close to you, pass away. I mean, everyone deals with grief in a different way. But how I coped with it was, okay, life is not promised. You don't know, I mean, he chose to take his life, but it was still, I had these moments like, oh, I'm going to reach out to him and I'll see him on 4th of July. And it didn't happen. And it's like, those are things that I do in my life where I say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow when I have time, or I'll do it tomorrow. Right now I'm busy doing this, I'm in this cushy, comfortable job where I'm getting benefits and everything's great. And I'll just do my dream when I retire. Well, what if that doesn't happen? Right? Like, what if, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so, I love that, life is now. This is the day that you get to create what you want, your legacy. Can you share a little bit about that too? Because I imagine for you, what was that like for your children to see you transition? I mean, they changed schools, and I mean, that was a big commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. And as parents, often we have to do things that we know are going to be really hard for a season because it's going to pay off in the long run, right? And so it was not an easy transition, especially for my middle one. The other two bounced back and around pretty quick, so they were all right. But it was a transition for her, and it was a transition for me. I talk about that a lot in the book. And it was a journey of starting over, but there's something so fresh and wonderful about a fresh start, you know? And so it has been a journey, but you know, as I'm raising two girls, that my girls right now are 14 and 12, and my son is 9, I think about that. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to give them the idea that you have to put all of your dreams on a shelf, and maybe one day when your kids leave, you can take a look at those, you know, and they've watched me live in the tension, and we talk about it now. And there's, you know, sometimes where they're right and they're like, Mom, hey, you can't miss this. It's important to me. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Like, I need a boundary. I need to get better at that. And then there's other times where they're like, Mom, you're never at anything. And I'm like, I literally was at everything. Like, I'm going on this trip and it's going to be okay. And we work through that together because they're not 4 and 2 anymore. And we can talk about it, you know, in different seasons. It looks different. But I just think legacy is really important to me. Like that whole word that you said, like legacy, that's one of my like, oh, you know, significance, purpose. That's so important for me. And when I think about my life and I think about like what gets me out of bed in the morning, it is that. It's like there's other people that are on the other side of you saying yes. So like if I didn't, I thought about that. Like, well, I'm getting kind of comfortable. Like I'm really comfortable with my little Team Brave. I don't really need to like go to the effort of trying to run these events or coordinate these things for all of these women or feel the pressure of taking on their burdens or whatever. But for me, because my life is about legacy and significance, that's what wakes me up in the morning. And that's what I want to do. Like as a coach, as a mom, all of it flows together because my decisions in my life can create quite a ripple effect in the lives of others. And so can yours.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. I mean, every woman that you touch, you know, where you help them, support them in their vision, you're helping them shape the legacy of their family. Because I mean, I think about my mom and how I'm sure we can think about, you know, other people we know that we thought, oh, they have so much potential, but they never really like went after their dream, or they never really went after it because of self-doubt, or, you know, feeling like they have to stay in this particular role of a mother and not chase after their dream. And I think about that, and how amazing it would be, you know, to be able to see my mom be where she could have been.
Yeah.
You know, and you're doing that for your children. You're allowing them to see you at your fullest potential, and then I imagine that they believe that that's possible for themselves.
Yeah, and that gets kind of fun. Now it gets kind of crazy because now when you're living all dreamers, everybody's wanting to be running, doing crazy things. But that is something that has been fun because there's been times where there's been tears on their side and on my side of me going, is this worth the struggle of me trying to figure this out? It would be easier to just throw in the towel of this and just try to just do 100% here. Although I wasn't really made for that. So I'm not my best mom self if I'm not doing some other things. But my daughter, you know, when she sat down in 9th grade and they're like, can you tell us like your life plan and your college plan and we'll map out. And I was like, first of all, I was like, yeah, she does not know, you know, but she was like, oh, I'm going to start a business and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to, you know, and she literally with confidence believes she can do anything or at least get out there and try. And I think in those moments, I'm like, okay, this is worth it. Even if they see the struggle, I think it's more important that they see the struggle than think that I have it all together and can just do it, you know? So I do believe I'm raising girls and a boy, you know, who can get out there and at least go for their dreams.
Yeah. Oh, that is so powerful. I mean, that she's already thinking about the fact that she has the power to create whatever she wants, rather than, oh, I just hope I get a job when I graduate from college. It's like, she's like, no, I'm just going to create my own job. I'm going to create my own reality. I mean, that's empowering. That is
Yeah.
so empowering.
And I
Um,
think that's what they see on the other side of our pivot.
yeah.
Like when we said, you know what, we're not going to just take what life gives us. Like we're going to create what we feel is our best life for us, for our marriage, and for the kids. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so very worth it.
Yeah, and your husband was so supportive. I mean, there's going to be some men also watching this as well. So, note to some of you men how important it is to support your partner and, both sides, right? And your own personal growth and development. And so he was supportive of this, or was there a little bit of enrolling that you did to get him on board?
No, actually, like I married someone who dreams bigger than I do.
Yeah.
So it's, it's interesting sometimes. We both are very strong personalities. So fireworks can happen in all the best and the worst ways. So, but we were both like, if we look at like our strength finders test, we're both number one futuristic, number two strategic. And so we're just at that place where we're dreamers. And sometimes he's willing to go before I am. So he was like, maybe we should move across the country. And I was like, I don't know about that big of a change, and it takes me a little bit more to warm up. But you know what? I've faithfully, like we've been married almost 18 years and have like followed him across the country and back and through different positions and different things. And what's been awesome is in this last season, as he's kind of building our health and wellness business, he's really looked at me and said, I want to support you in your personal dreams. Like you have been supporting me. And so how can I support you? And so in writing my book and in helping me get that published and in my journal and in now my events, and whether it's investing time and money until we see a return, like he has been supportive through that whole process. And that has really strengthened our marriage, and having our kids see that has been huge.
Oh, wow. That's like a dream marriage right there. I mean, I know there's going to be struggles, but
Yep.
that's okay. I mean, we're human, but to be able to grow together and to support each other, and for him to say, oh, I believe in you, I'm going to support you. I mean, that's how you really grow in a strong, intimate connection. And yeah, and you're making a difference in the world. I mean, that must be wonderful for him to witness how many women that you're empowering.
Yeah, he's super encouraging with that, because again, we have days
Yeah.
and he's like, no, like look at this, these ladies, they need you need to keep going, keep doing this. And so being able to do that for each other, and I think it's because we really focused on our personal health and then
Mm-hmm.
our emotional health. And probably a lot of the women on here, I mean, if you struggle with chasing dreams and kids, you probably definitely struggle with self-care,
Yes.
because that can fall to the wayside.
Oh
But if we
yeah.
don't take care of ourselves and do that, then we often don't have the foundation to like be able to do any of these things off of.
Yeah, you don't have the energy. You don't
Yeah.
have the energy or, the wherewithal to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you prioritize, and I know we're getting close to the end here. I just could talk to you forever. Well, I'll just join your Team Brave. Can anyone join your Team Brave?
Yep. You can just go on, and it's if you're in Facebook, you just want to search "We Are Team Brave,"
We are
and
team.
it'll take you to the group, and you can just join and see the Zooms every Wednesday and the conversations we're having and be part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, when do you think is like, and we'll kind of close on this because I think this is important with the self-care. Like, when do you finally, like, do you know when enough is enough, or when it's really time to transition? I mean, I know it's different for everyone.
Yeah, I think it is really different for everyone, and I think you just need to know that you're at a really healthy place, because sometimes we make decisions that we regret because we're tired or
Mhm.
because we're just weary or we're triggered by something. And so for me, it's something that I encourage people to do is commit to your daily ritual of like creating space for you, whatever that looks like. I mean, for some people it's prayer, and some people it's meditation, some people it's journaling, but like if you're just storing stuff up in there, it's not going to go well. So like processing your thoughts and like being able to create space to process why you're feeling what you're feeling so that you don't make a decision in the wrong timing. Obviously, I also believe in wise counsel. Like if you have some people that really believe and want what's best for you, they can help you make a decision like that. And for us, we we had some key people like mentors in our life that really helped us. We sensed the change coming, but we also wanted to be like financially wise if we're moving our family, and like make sure that it felt like the right time for the kids being off school. So there's just different things to consider. So having wise counsel in your life and knowing that like the path that you're choosing is creating more peace. It could create like more obstacles, but if it's the right path, you can face the obstacles with peace, if that makes sense. And so just kind of lining up those few things for me really helped me. But I do find it's much easier to make decisions when my daily ritual of creating that space is happening. I'm not reacting based on emotions. I'm more like, know where I'm at. I'm self-aware, and I'm able to look at things more objectively and kind of make better decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And then with faith, where does faith come in to that? Because part of it, true. I mean, well, for people, who
Yep.
have that belief, which I do, it's, where does faith come in?
I think it's like right there in the messy middle, because for me, and I talk about this in the book too, it's that faith and its action, right? Like that's the balance of going, like we were in faith believing that, I mean, like we didn't know where we were going to live like 6 weeks from when we knew we were going to go. And I kept going back to like the story of Abraham, and like, as you move forward, like, I'll give you the details, like just go and I'll tell you where to go, is what like the Bible says. And I'm like, okay, but we need somewhere to land, but as we continue to move forward, like towards the decision, and as we kind of like did our part, we watched God open the right doors and the right people come alongside and the right opportunities be provided. And so I find that it's like the combination, like we don't want to err on the side of being all faith and just sitting here waiting for like our Amazon package of life to be delivered to us. But we also don't want to try to be so self-reliant that we have to have every one of our ducks in a row and we don't leave room for God to show up. And so it's kind of that messy middle, I find, where the sweet spot is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I completely believe that. If we had more time, I'd share, but but yeah, it's like the right people come along and the right opportunities present themselves when you take that first step.
Yep.
In the right direction. So that's really powerful. Now you also you're offering a free gift, a mantra. Is that right? You want to share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. So I wrote this, and actually, like, I'm gonna walk away to grab it really quick because I just have to show you. So this sits in the windowsill of my office, and you would literally find me like holding this and like reading it out loud. It's kind of like my proclamation. So I call it my mama mantra. So if you are a mom and you're in the tension and the struggle of chasing your kids and your dreams, then this is for you. It's just like little proclamations of like, I only get one life. I can and will choose to chase both my kids and my dreams. I will make choices today to create a life that's centered around what matters most to me. And the more that you say these things and you believe them and you can create the actions around them, the more you're going to feel confident to do both and to live in that and life,
Yeah. Yeah. That is really powerful. I mean, it does, when you have a practice like that, it really does shift your mindset. And because you're doing it just like when we exercise, like you're training your brain to think differently of possibility rather than, oh, that's not for me. It's like, oh no, this is what I'm creating. Yeah. And that's when you have these struggles, you say, okay, wait, no, this is what I'm creating.
Exactly. Yep. And when you're repeating those and you're remembering them, it's like you go, but when you get tempted to be like, oh, my kids. And I'm like, wait, I'm doing this for my kids, and you just remember those statements, and it's powerful.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to include with with this in the video and at the bottom of the video, as well as in the email, and I'm sending this video out to you, all this to how to connect with you. So I'll include the Facebook group and then do you have a website where you share your events?
Yep. So if you just go to mvalentine.com, you can see some of the free resources there, or get access to the book or to my new dream chasing guide, and kind of see all the things that we're up to at Team Brave.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for your time and your valuable information. And thank you for joining us. And we'll have another episode tomorrow. to help you on your transformation journey. And perhaps today you can share with what Megan shared with us is download the mantra and start the mantra. And if you're a man here listening, or father, you can have your own father mantra or daddy mantra, because we all are on this journey together, and we get to partner on that transformation. So thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you.